What if you could get the magnesium that your body so badly needs from drinking water? Well, look at this article first. The alarming fact is that foods, fruit, vegetables, and grains now being raised on millions of acres of land that no longer contains enough of certain needed nutrients are starving us, no matter how much we eat of them. U.S. Senate document 1936. Magnesium is a key element we all need, and yet most of us are deficient in it. I'm going to show you myself making magnesium water and give you additional information on the process. I'm giving no medical advice, and here is the disclaimer. Today I'm making magnesium water, so I've got a I think 7.750 milliliters, 750 milliliters of Perrier carbonated water. I've got a couple different brands. Very difficult to find here, even in Cebu City. I only found one store that had it, Rustin's. Anyway, I've got a funnel, and I've got magnesium hydroxide powder, which I did find online. Very difficult to find, but I found it here in the Philippines, and I'm going to put one teaspoon, might be just a bit much. So I'm going to take this off relatively quickly. Take 1 teaspoon, a little less than 1 teaspoon, and I'm going to dump it in here. Less than 1 teaspoon. I'm going to dump that. It's going to start reacting very quickly. And put the cover on very quickly. Yeah, it is. I don't know if you can see it fizzing there. Started fizzing up. It was going to fizz over. I got it closed, and shake it up for 30 seconds to 1 minute. And I'll do it for 1 minute. And then what I'm going to do, I'm put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes to an hour. And then I'll shake it up again for 30 seconds to a minute. And then I'll leave it set until it gets clear, and then it is ready to drink. I have read that it is best to use cold carbonated water with no additives, no sugars, no tonic waters, stuff like that. So be sure it's cold before you do this. And magnesium hydroxide powder, if you can use that, or some people use milk of magnesia. Now, do not use Phillips brand of milk of magnesia. I'll tell you why here in a minute. I had a friend and subscriber bring me over a bottle of that. He asked, can I bring you something? I said, yeah. And I think it cost, I don't know, $5 or $10 at a Walmart or Target. And anyway, look at the active ingredient, magnesium hydroxide, exactly the same thing I have in my powder. The problem is that it has some other ingredients in it, and I'll show you that in a second. And you don't want flavored kind. I had heard that you could get other generic brands that did not have this, what ends up being some type of bleach, or flavoring. But I understand it's getting more and more difficult to find that as well. On the opposite side of the bottle, drug facts, other information. Each 15 millimeter contains magnesium 500 milligrams. That's okay. Anyway, inactive ingredients. Purified water, which is great, but it has sodium hypochlorite, which essentially is a bleach. And there's some discussion about why are they putting sodium hypochlorite in these products. And some people think they get it from overseas, and all this stuff's manufactured overseas, like much of it in India or China these days, and perhaps it helps to preserve it long term in the long voyage over on the boat. Not sure. You do want to look, read the labels, and do not use this. And I'm going to show you a recipe using this. I'm going to show you the recipe that I use using the magnesium hydroxide as well. There is a Dr. Davis that has a site and a lot of good information. He's got videos on YouTube. He's written a number of books. I think he's a heart surgeon, and he's written a book, Wheat Belly, the Total Health. Anyway, he's written a number of books. Below is an excerpt from the recipes in Wheat Belly Total Health, also posted in Undoctored. Got a website, I think, called Undoctored. I get, I think, once or twice a month, I get kind of like a newsletter from them, I guess. And anyway, there's some good information here. First, this paragraph here, very important. If we were able to drink water straight from streams that float over rocks and minerals, and if we ate wild foods rich in magnesium, none of this would be necessary. But given the fact that water filtration removes virtually all magnesium, modern crop growing methods mobilize as much as 60% less magnesium compared to older methods, and prior grain consumption blocks nearly all magnesium absorption due to grain phytates. Nearly all of us suffer from magnesium deficiency. Inadequate magnesium intake has real consequences such as higher blood pressure, higher blood sugars, muscle cramps, heart rhythm disorders such as atrial fibrillation, as well as fatal rhythms and osteoporosis. Because of our poor intake, supplementation is necessary for a lifetime for the majority. This magnesium water is therefore the best fix I know of. While the best form of magnesium supplement is magnesium bicarbonate, and goes and tells you why you can't buy magnesium bicarbonate supplements. And my understanding is that the absorption rate of many of these pills and capsules that we can buy is relatively low. You can make it yourself. This simple recipe yields magnesium bicarbonate, a highly absorbable form of magnesium that restores tissue magnesium with least potential for diarrhea. A 4-ounce serving provides 90 milligrams of elemental magnesium. 4 ounces twice per day thereby adds an additional 180 milligrams of elemental magnesium to your diet. Building up to an intake as permitted by bowel tolerance of 8 ounces twice per day is ideal, providing 360 milligrams per day. Now, magnesium can give you loose stools, diarrhea, so you don't want to take too much at a time. Definitely will do that. I've experimented with it, and I've noticed loose stools if I drink a little bit too much. Anyway, he's got a recipe here using milk of magnesia, and very important. And I read down through the comments, and a lot of them were from like 3 years ago, and they're saying unflavored. The milk of magnesia must be unflavored, as flavorings block the reaction, and it should not contain sodium hypochlorite, as it is an unhealthy additive. It is in fact a bleach of some sort. Anyway, here's some information. If you can find unflavored milk of magnesia without any additives, simply and then it tells you how to make this. And if you want to stop and read through that, go ahead, or come to this site and read through it if you want to use the milk of magnesia. I find using carbonated water and the magnesium hydroxide to be easier and faster. And here's one of the comments I think was interesting. After several weeks without magnesium, I noticed I can buy pouches of pure magnesium hydroxide on eBay and make my own magnesium water.
I put a tiny scoop into my sparkling water, carbonated water, make it fresh each day. No more milk of magnesia, no more fishy taste. Bags of food grade magnesium have been available for many years. I'm still using a 1 kilogram bag from Bulk Supplements brand powder, bought several years ago. The question has risen, however, as to just how pure they are, and that's a question I have here. Where did it come from? How pure is it? It seems to work. That's all I can say. How much are you at? How much are you using is the question. I'm using 1/2 teaspoon, 2.5 milliliters per liter. Now, I've been adding a little bit more to my 750 milliliter, and I get sediment in the bottom of my bottle even after shaking it 2 or 3 different times over the course of an hour or two. Adding that much directly to seltzer water can apparently cause an annoying, vigorous reaction, and it does. I add it to filtered water, which is chilled overnight, then carbonate it, and then let it stand for 20 minutes. And some of you probably have these various carbonating. You can carbonate your own water. There are a number of different, and you make your own sodas if you really want to drink that very unhealthy product. But I checked on buying a machine to make my own carbonated water, and it's about 5,000 pesos, a little between 5 and 6,000 pesos on Lazada, online shopping place here. And over the course of time, I guess if it didn't break, it would probably pay for itself. But I just go down and buy carbonated water where I can find it, when I can find it in the store, and then I buy a lot of it. And here's another comment. Why not just use pure magnesium hydroxide? Of course, the question is, what's the quality of the bag of magnesium hydroxide you get shipped to you? I don't know. We're always assuming certain things with everything we buy, you know. Anyway, bag from Bulk Supplements is cheaper than buying bottles of milk and magnesia per elemental magnesia. It may come to that if the last of the milk and magnesia in the U.S. get bleached. People in the UK may already be in this spot, and some have been considering sourcing actual magnesium bicarbonate from their chemist. Questions arise why the sodium hypochlorite is in that milk of magnesia and why all the brands are migrating to it. Speculation includes offshore lowest bidder, lowest quality supplies, and that the NaOCl is basically a preservative during the weeks-long ocean voyage in a bulk container. In addition to messing with our reaction, the NaOCl is suspect as a microbiome antagonist and is yet another non-native halogen compound that our thyroid and endocrine systems hardly need. How to make magnesium bicarbonate concentrate. Get a 1 liter of regular seltzer water. Refrigerate it. It's best to, the colder it is, the better. Now, don't make the mistake I made. I put one in the freezer, forgot about it. It exploded in there. I heard a bang, and I thought something fell off a shelf or something, and couldn't find it. The next day I opened the freezer door, and lo and behold, there it was, glass everywhere. Weigh out 3.6 grams of magnesium hydroxide, or easier, about 1 teaspoon if scales not available. Without shaking the bottle, gently open it. Now this is carbonated water, so you probably don't want to shake it until we get to that point. Quickly pour in the magnesium hydroxide. Quickly close and shake thoroughly. Place bottle in fridge for 30 minutes for the magnesium hydroxide to react with CO2 in the seltzer. Take it out after 30 minutes to an hour and shake one last time. Let it settle in the fridge for another 30 minutes and it's ready for consumption. Somewhere else I said the magnesium hydroxide reacts with CO2 in the seltzer and creates magnesium bicarbonate, very absorbable form of magnesium. You will see the seltzer bottle cave in if you're using a plastic one, signaling that the reaction is working towards the end. You may adjust how much magnesium hydroxide you use. You will know when using too much because you will see white sediments at the bottom of the bottle. This is unreacted magnesium hydroxide, and that's what I've been getting. So I've been adjusting how much I'm pouring in. Also, the brand of soda or seltzer you use, as well as other factors, will determine the amount. Now, don't use any carbonated water that has added sugar, like tonic water, for instance. Some brands carbonate more, and thus more magnesium hydroxide can be used. Not to worry if you put in too much and you see the white sediment at the bottom. It's not bad for you, just creates a laxative effect if you drink more of the magnesium. You may use magnesium bicarbonate concentrate, 1 to 2 8-ounce glasses a day, or preferably create a diluted solution for all-day drinking. And what diluted mean, you'd take that 8 ounces and maybe dilute it into 16 ounces or more, and sip on it during the day, so you're getting constant intake. How to make diluted solution to drink all day. Measure out 11 ounces or 1/3 liter from the concentrate, 1/3 of the bottle. Add 2.5 liters of your drinking water, preferably distilled or filtered. Combine the two to make 1 gallon of drinking water. You can consume this in one day. This concentrate would make about 10 to 11 liters of drinking water. I personally make a healthy gallon drinking jug every day. Start with clean distilled water. I add magnesium bicarbonate, potassium gluconate, fresh lemons, chia seeds, pinch of salt. I heard another doctor say that they use magnesium citrate powder, I believe. Choosing a less efficiently absorbed form of magnesium is preferable in this situation, because some forms of magnesium can have an osmotic effect and pull water into the intestines. Magnesium citrate, 400 milligrams, 2 or 3 times per day, is our preferred form for this purpose. If nothing results after 24 hours, 1 or more doses of 800 to 1200 milligrams will usually do the trick. Then back down to the 400 dose, 2 or 3 times per day. This was taken from Constipation Protocol from Undoctored website. Now this magnesium citrate, if you drink that much, magnesium citrate is less efficiently absorbed, and it attracts water into your intestines, loosening up your stools and helping to solve the constipation problem. So in summary, you can try to get your nutrients from food, but because the soil is depleted, our water is depleted of so many things, everything gets filtered out and filtered out and filtered out, that it becomes more and more difficult. I've seen many studies where it says you've got to eat, 30 bananas a day to get the potassium that you need, some crazy thing like that. I eat a lot of broccoli. I don't eat many bananas because they have it's a lot of sugar there. I do eat a number of nuts each day, and I'm going to do another video about where I source some of that stuff, especially here in the Philippines. And but even there, because of the soil that they're growing in and probably depleted, these nuts have smaller amounts of the nutrients that we should have. So magnesium water appears to me to be one of the easiest ways to get the amount of magnesium. Now, another important thing that I've read is that magnesium water doesn't have to be refrigerated if you consume it within 1 to 2 weeks, which I do. I consume a liter in about a week, a little less than a week actually. And so that's good news, because if I'm traveling, I can make a bottle, take it with me. Magnesium, very important, very essential, and if you don't have adequate amounts of magnesium, you will have some health issues at some point in time. Quite possibly it will affect a number of things. And that's a video for another time. There's lots of information online if you want to do the research. Anyway, thanks for watching. See if you can find some magnesium hydroxide and make some of this stuff, or some unflavored, unadulterated milk of magnesia. See you next time.